I mean this in the most respectful way possible. Alabama fans are arrogant, they're self-absorbed, and they're entitled pieces of crap sometimes. If you can't do a pull-up, a push-up, or a sit-up, you have no right to criticize these Alabama players. I think some people talk way too much. I'm not referring to if you and one of your buddies you're on a phone call for 1 to 2 hours, or if you and your friends you're watching football and y'all are talking for a couple hours. That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm referring to is two things. Number one being an athlete, person, criminal, or somebody that has made a bad mistake. They continue to talk about it and it makes things worse. Have you ever heard the phrase digging a deeper hole? That's what I'm getting to. If you mess up, it's already bad enough. Don't continue to dig yourself a deeper hole, and I think a great example of that is Antonio Brown. It seems like every time he does something crazy, he continues to go on podcasts and interviews and make it sound 10 times worse. That's number one, and the other one is this right here. A phrase and quote I live my life by is you have people who talk about doing stuff, and then you have people who do stuff. Some of you may be sitting there asking, yo Matt, what do you mean by that? Well, my friend, I think it's really simple. In this life, I'm sure you got a couple of friends, they're always talking about starting a business, starting a podcast, just doing something, going on a vacation, and it never happens. They talk about getting a brand new house, a brand new car, and they just talk about it, they don't do it. On the other hand, you may know somebody like this. Somebody you know, he gets a brand new car and a brand new house, and you had no idea he was going to do that. Or he goes on vacation, or he buys a new bicycle, anything like that. The point is, people who talk about doing stuff, they're too busy talking about it, they don't do it. And people who are doing stuff, they don't have time to talk about it because they're doing it. I'm not going to say I hate when an athlete says, I'm going to go off this year, I'm going to do this or do that. It's great to have goals and morals. But at the same time, I look at it like this. Don't tell me what you're going to do. Show it to me. Prove it in your actions. As the older you start to get, you realize words don't mean all that much. It's more about actions. If you don't want to take my word for it, there's a reason why all these NFL teams, they don't want Antonio Brown on their team. It's too risky. He goes on all these podcasts and say, hey, I'm going to do better, I'm going to do this or do that. Well, your words mean nothing now. He's lied and lied and lied time after time, and it's to the point where nobody takes his word for anything. And then on top of that, let's say Bryce Young for Alabama. He says, I'm going to win the Heisman next year and throw for 10,000 yards, and let's say he doesn't do it. Then it looks bad. If you say you're going to show up to a friend's birthday party and you get their hopes up and you don't do it, it makes it worse, whereas if you wouldn't have said nothing, it wouldn't have been that bad in the first place. That's my mini rant for the day, and it goes hand in hand with what we're about to talk about. I thought we were done making videos on this situation, we were going to move on, but once again, he continues to find his way into the media. Who am I referring to? It's no other than the former 5-star recruit, the former Alabama wide receiver, Agiye Hall. Most of you know what happened with him in Alabama. If not, let me explain it briefly. He comes into Alabama, he's supposed to be a star player, he gets to play in the championship game, and he drops a touchdown pass, and he drops some other passes here and there. I don't want to criticize him too much, he wasn't that good in the ball game. Little did we know, all throughout the season, he was having off-the-field problems. There was many rumors, and most people confirmed it, that he was skipping classes, not showing up to classes, and just doing bad stuff. In the offseason, he continued to have bad habits, got into some more trouble, and Nick Saban had enough and kicked him off the team. Want to make this clear, everybody thinks Nick Saban's some tyrant that runs a military base in Tuscaloosa, but that's not the case. One of my favorite parts about Nick Saban is he doesn't just care about winning championships, he cares about these players' careers. You can believe what you want, but everybody that keeps up with him in college football, they know that's true. There's been multiple times where the media and people on ESPN said Alabama should kick off a player for something he did, and Nick Saban didn't kick him off because he said that would really ruin his career. He believes in giving guys second and third chances because if you kick them off and put them on the streets or wherever, then their life's going to go downhill really fast. I say that to say this. Nick Saban had to kick off Agiye Hall, so you know it was something bad. He even stated he gave him 2 to 3 and 4 opportunities to fix his act. He didn't fix his act. You guys know this. We've already talked about it. He gets kicked off. He enters the transfer portal. He really didn't have a choice, and he winds up going to Texas. I find that kind of funny and ironic because another player Alabama was having problems with, Jahlil Billingsley, also into Texas. It now makes the Alabama-Texas matchup one of the most exciting games I'm looking forward to next year in week 2. You got Sarkisian leading the team, he was at Alabama, and you also got 2 great weapons. Yeah, that's right, you heard me correctly, I said great weapons. Go watch the film on Billingsley in his freshman year at Alabama. Go watch the film on Agiye Hall in high school. These dudes are beasts. Don't underestimate it or make no exception about it. They are some of the best players in the country if they can get their act together and their attitude right. My only concern on them and their biggest knock on their games is their mentality. I don't know if they're going to be all there. I don't know if they're going to work hard, so I guess we'll have to see. Just because they had bad attitudes at Alabama, it doesn't mean they're going to have a bad attitude at Texas. Alabama fans don't want to hear this, but I'm going to tell you the truth. I wouldn't be shocked if they had good careers at Texas. Why wouldn't I be shocked? Because I saw what they could do when they were in the right mindset at Alabama. Now this morning, the news started to come out and release that Agiye did an interview with someone from Texas. No big deal, right? It's just going to be a little interview. He's not going to say nothing crazy. Yeah, I guess you can tell we're making a video, so obviously he said something controversial. In this interview, he called out Alabama fans, didn't really say good things about them, and it's getting everybody rallied up. Here's what he had to say about the Bama fan base. They're not really loving. If I could say, even when you leave, Texas fans are like family. They love you unconditionally. Agiye, is that a joke? Are you being serious or are you trolling? I really don't know. I don't really care about what he said about the Bama fans. I can see where he's coming from. It's the Texas part where I'm scratching my head. Out of every school in the country, Texas is the one with the least fan base that's going to love you unconditionally. And here's my thing where I think it's laughable, and he shouldn't have even said it. He's only been there for 2 weeks. How do you know? There's no difference. That is the equivalent to you dating a girl for 2 weeks and saying, oh yeah, she loves me unconditionally. 2 weeks? Really? You ain't even been together for a month. You're still in the honeymoon phase. Yeah, everything's gonna be good because you just got there. Wait till the season starts. Once again, I get it. He's saying that because he did get a lot of hate from Alabama fans. A large reason for that, and I gotta be brutally honest, if you drop open touchdowns in the national championship and you drop passes in the national championship, I don't care what team you're on, they're gonna talk crap about you. I didn't talk crap about them, but I did say I was disappointed, and I really was. Alabama has had some of the best wide receivers in the past 4, 5, 6 years, so we're not used to seeing guys drop passes left and right. Look at it from this standpoint. Do you think if Devontae Smith would have dropped that touchdown from Tua Tagovailoa, people wouldn't have talked crap about him? Yeah, they would have. This Twitter account replied to it and said, yeah, most fan bases don't love locker room cancers who underperform on the playing field. And that's what I'm also talking about. I didn't really see too much Bama fans recently talking about his play on the field. It was more about how he acted off the field. That's where I don't understand his point and where he's trying to come from. The biggest thing, and I think I speak for a lot of Bama fans on this, you can correct me if I'm wrong, we just wanted to see this guy act right off the field. Last time I checked, I didn't see nobody complaining about him only having 7 catches last year all throughout the season. What I'm about to say, it doesn't even hurt me to say it whatsoever. I mean this 100%. Alabama fans, they were pissing me off last year. For reference, I have some new people coming to the channel every day. For those of you that don't know, yes, I am an Alabama fan. One thing about me I want you to understand is I'm not one of those psychotic, crazy Bama fans where I think our team's going to win the championship every single year and I live, die, eat, breathe, sleep Alabama football. I'm not one of them. I love Alabama football. I want us to win, but I'm also a realist. I'm not out of touch with reality. For example, go back to the videos. I predicted Georgia was going to beat us in the championship. I got a lot of hate from that from Alabama fans, but guess what? I was right. Just because I'm a Bama fan, if I think Georgia's going to win the game, I'm not picking Alabama. I'm picking Georgia. I get it. I can be biased here and there sometimes. I can't help it. Who isn't biased occasionally to their team? I do apologize if I come off as biased sometimes. I don't mean nothing by it. However, with that being said, I am in touch with reality. And I gotta say this, a lot of Bama fans, they aren't, and it pisses me off. I mean this in the most respectful way possible. Alabama fans are arrogant, they're self-absorbed, and they're entitled pieces of crap sometimes. Whoa, Matt, what do you mean by that? How could you say that? When I say I was pissed, I don't mean it ate me alive at night and I couldn't sleep, but it rubbed me the wrong way what was happening all throughout the season. Alabama was winning these close games against LSU, 2014, the Auburn one, just all throughout the season, they weren't playing that great like the Alabama standard. But here's the thing, and I couldn't understand where people were coming from. We were still winning those ball games. Last time I checked, beating an SEC school, except for Vanderbilt, it's impressive. I don't care if it's home or away. Winning every single week, it's not something you're entitled to, but Alabama fans think they are. I don't care if LSU's 0-11. I don't care if Auburn's 0-54. If you can beat them, I would never complain about that. And that's what made me so mad. I remember after beating LSU, yeah, it was close, but we snuck out the win. I was happy. I go on Twitter. I see all these Alabama fans crying because we didn't beat them by 20. Nick Saban said this word for word. It's not fair to the players that prepare to this. They go out and win a game. They're feeling good. They go on social media and ESPN, and people are criticizing them for winning a game. Do you understand how impressive that is for people to criticize you after winning an SEC game? If you are one of those Alabama fans, I can't stand you, and I don't care if that offends you. If you can't appreciate our players going out there putting their bodies and lives on the line to win a game, you can't applaud them for winning? I don't respect you. This doesn't go hand in hand, but it kind of does. Every time I go to a game, I know some of y'all have experienced this. Have you ever sat by those guys who look like they've never played a sport in their life and they're complaining about Bryce Young or just any quarterback and saying, oh, I could do way better than him. Why is the coach calling these plays and blah, 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 blah. I hate, and I mean I hate people like that. All throughout the game, they're criticizing the quarterback. All throughout the game, they're criticizing the running back. All throughout the game, they're criticizing wide receiver. Dude, you couldn't even make your high school football team. Shut up. If you can't do a pull-up, a push-up, or a sit-up, you have no right to criticize these Alabama players. Let me go back on that statement, because I know some of you are saying, oh, Matt, you're being hypocritical. You criticize them all the time. You was just criticizing Agiye Hall for dropping those passes. And let me actually make this more clear. It's not just Alabama fans. It's fans at every SEC school. I can't talk about the Big 10 or Big 12 because I've never been to one of them games. What I'm talking about is when somebody in the stands says a player sucks. I think most of you know what I'm trying to say. When you're yelling at them saying, you suck, you're a piece of crap, that stuff, that's out of hand. There's a difference from criticizing and just saying stupid stuff where you're not even thinking. For example, if you're sitting beside me at a game and you say, dang man, Agiye Hall, he should have caught that pass. I expect more out of him. I don't have a problem with that. That's right. But let's say Agiye Hall drops a pass and you start beating the ground, throwing your hat, saying, dang man, that Agiye Hall, he sucks, man. Get him out of the game. No, man, shut up. Okay, we gotta get back on topic. I ranted way too much, but I just wanted to get that off my chest. Going back to Agiye's quote, I do understand what he's saying about Alabama fans. They can be super hateful at times. But at the same time, he didn't help himself by getting in trouble off the field. He also added to that statement in an interview and said, they want the best for you and want to make sure you're striving to be the best person you are, whether it's people in the stands, players, or coaches. They're all connected, which is a good thing. Never been to a Texas game, so I can't speak on it. If you have, let me know in the comment section what it's like. And last but not least, before we end off this video, here's another fascinating quote by Agiye. I really loved Alabama's playbook, and it's Sark's playbook, so I gotta stick with my boy Sark. What I was doing at Bama that wasn't seen is going to be seen this year. Ooh, okay, so I guess he's trying to insinuate and say he's about to go off. That goes right in hand with what I talked about at the beginning of this video. Don't talk about it, just show me. Don't tell me you're gonna go off this year. Do it, prove it with your actions. Cause guess what, Agiye Hall? If you don't go off, I'm pulling that tweet back up. Well, I'm probably not going to pull it up because I really don't care, but other people, they will, and they'll hold it against you. All in all, to sum it up, what do I think about Agiye Hall throwing these shots at Alabama fans? This may sound crazy, but I love it. You want to know why I love it? Because it makes the game exciting. Alabama plays Texas in week 2. It adds much more excitement to the game. Although I don't condone the trash talk, although I don't condone calling out other fan bases, it does make it exciting. And guess what? That's what makes the sport interesting. We want to see the drama. You can hate the NIL, you can hate the transfer portal, whatever, but it gives us something to talk about in the offseason and it keeps us entertained. I don't have a problem with him calling out Alabama fans because I called him out in the same video. At the same time, if you drop passes and you have a terrible attitude off the field, I think fans have the right to call you out. So you got Alabama fans calling out Agiye Hall and now he's throwing shots back. Ooh. Man, oh man, that week 2 matchup. I can't hype it up enough. It's going to be good. Let me know your thoughts down below. But peace.